that particular situation where anything is possible, and maybe this AI is going to disrupt, and that is what we're going to check today. Like, what is the opinion of our all the educators out here. Starting with my first question goes to Colonel Sekhar, but before that, my take towards it, though I'm not supposed to talk today, but I do have a very I would say introspection going on, because like the NCF more or less, and in a majority, it talks about competency development, and this is where my the major doubt is, because if we cannot compete with a machine in competency, and that to an intelligence machine, and this is where the idea of the topic came, and I told you that can we do something like how NCF is the age of AI, which is like an inevitable near future coming to us. So since like competency, we cannot compete. My first question to Colonel Sir, my first question to you, sir, is like the impact of AI in the culture of K-12 education. Do you think the AI is going to be an enabler or a disruptor? And if whichever form the AI is, like, how do you think the schools will transform in the next 5, 10, 15 years? Because whoever is listening to us will have this question actually in their mind. Like, how do you think, with your worst experience, sir, how can you I know it's very difficult to predict, but still, what will be your insight towards it?
Right. Namaskar, Kusham Deen, and Rakhi greetings. I'm not talking about Rakhi Chabriya over here. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Abhishek, for that question. Before we start the program, a couple of points I wish to highlight. One is TeacherHelpTeachers is a great initiative. Congratulations. And hopefully you can keep it free all the while, because after a while it becomes quite a struggle to match up to it. And my personal welcome and best wishes to my fellow panelists. When I almost saw Rosa Paul, I was thinking about Rosa Parks, the famous American apparently and racism campaigner, and Arijit is an old friend. A couple of things. One is, let us also remember and condemn the attacks we are having on teachers and principals. Equally, let us join together in condemning the nonsense which has happened in Muzaffarnagar, as also in Tamil Nadu, where a Dalit cook has been cooking, and at least 23 of the 40 students are now quite clearly asking for TC because of upper class, lower class stuff. So keeping that aside, coming down to AI. Firstly, is NCF or NEP already dated because of AI? Has AI completely turned around what we are doing in terms of NEP, NCF, etc.? We always say that the elephant takes time to move, but then the movement is faster. Has the Indian elephant taken too much time to get into this business before AI takes off? Issue number one. Issue number two, will it be an enabler and a disruptor? At the risk of sounding both sides, it will be an enabler, it will also be a disruptor. The positive disruption has to be there, for we in the education fraternity have been too smug or too clever by half. We believe nobody can touch us. For close to 200 plus years, we have been sitting with our chalk pieces, pens, pencils and screens. Thank God for COVID-19. I don't appreciate what the Chinese have done, but I definitely appreciate the disruption. Yeah, somebody is saying the voice is echoing. Tripti Agarwal. Is my voice echoing? Not
no, I don't think so. Like, this is okay.
Tripti madam, get your system sorted out. So that's one. Secondly, will it enable? Yes, it will enable in a country like India, where far and away. We have 786 districts from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Leh to Arunachal Pradesh. It will definitely improve our 12-13 lakh schools. It will have a positive impact. These two things are clear. So 3 points. One is, as NCF and NEP become dated because of AI, the jury is out. Will it be an enabler? Yes, it will be. Will it be a disruptor? Yet it will be. Will it be a destroyer? That is the third additional question. Again, it depends upon how we handle it. I'm not trying to give this side, that side answer. There will be destruction. And the last part of the question, 5, 10, 15 years, even Goddess Saraswati will not be able to answer this question, Abhishek. I'm too small a fry as of now. Back to you.
Yeah, I was expecting this answer, but anyway. I've never seen, Colonel Sekhar giving any kind of diplomatic answer for the first time. I have found him doing that, but can't help AI's, forcing us to become, to play safe. Anyways, going to Arijit, a very good friend of mine. We started as teachers in the classroom and never imagined that, 2005 when NCF came up, we were teachers. And, we never realized that, there will be such kind of changes or actually expected changes happening in the education. We were hoping, no doubt. So, talking about changes, Arijit, coming back to the real world, I always love to start with philosophy, and that's what I've given Colonel Sekhar to answer. Coming back to the, the reality of the real world, what do you think will be the next 3 steps if any school listening to us would like to integrate AI with NCF? What can be the next 3 steps, according?
Okay. Thanks, Abhishek. Thanks, Rakhi, for having me here today. So that's basically what the pulse, what Abhishek said. He knows Colonel Sekhar and me at least so well, so he knows what question to ask whom.
Can you get me some water,
so thanks for that. So basically, I think the answer to start off is in the topic of today's panel discussion itself. It is NCF in the age of AI and not AI in the age of NCF, if you understand what I mean. So we are already very much in the process, and some talks have already started to use AI to automate processes. Now that might be a short-term impact, but I personally feel that the larger impact of AI will be in complementing and augmenting human capabilities and not replacing them. So the discussion what we are having, that whether teachers will get replaced or not, let's leave that out of the system, because that is not, AI is not going to pose any existential threat to teachers. Okay. So I think through collaborative intelligence, and I repeat this term, collaborative intelligence, I think humans and AI will actively enhance each other's complementary strengths. So number one, if you talk about humans, obviously AI will not be able to replace the leadership, the teamwork, the creativity, the social skills what humans have. And it will be difficult for humans to keep pace up with technology and AI when it comes to speed, scalability, and probably the quantitative capabilities. So I think the partnership between human intelligence and artificial intelligence is certainly poised to revolutionize the very foundation of education. So that is what I firmly believe. Now, when you asked about the 3 things which I see immediate change, one is there will be a lot of data-informed decision-making which will come in. And as I said, that one of the key core fundamental value adds of technology with AI is the quantitative capabilities. So with more and more data and analysis of data feeding into the system to change the way you actually take action, that is going to be a huge impactful step. That's one. Number 2 is behavioral science. I think we have started working on this. So social and emotional learning. How do you measure behavior? How do you track behavior? I think this is another area where AI is going to play a huge amount of role
what are you doing?
Going forward.
Give it to me.
I'm reminded of an author, Dan Ariely's. So Dan Ariely says that humans are actually quite irrational. So and it is very predictable. So it's a kind of a double-edged sword. So on one side, AI will be able to track some kind of a pattern into human behavior. But knowing us, if we ourselves reflect, many a times we are very irrational in our behavior, and that is pretty normal. So how do we, if AI only banks on logic and completely lacks that emotional intelligence, then definitely it will risk not only being inaccurate, but also it might be dangerous depending from situation to situation. So it's a very careful territory where we need to tread on when it comes to behavioral science and social and emotional learning. The third one, and particularly I personally am very, very excited about, is something which is termed as predictive analysis. So what we are capturing the data trends in a long-term study, what impact it is going to have in the lives of one child, in the lives of even a teacher, in the life of what that classroom is being comprised. So any kind of, again, it is kind of correlated to the first one, which I said, data-informed decision-making. But a very significant part of that would be predictive analysis. So for me, 3 things: data-informed decision-making, behavioral science, and predictive analysis.
Okay, it's very interesting, Arijit. Like you said, data-informed decisions. You said behavioral, capturing the data which is coming out of behavior. And you also said that we have taken a tremendous amount of irrational, decisions, which is also our data. And if we go and start capturing the, history of mankind, and then you are saying that we are going to create predictive tests, decision making, which actually going to help the organizations, corporates to actually take decisions on that. Now, this is sounding extremely scary. Why? Because you are actually giving a machine, a bunch of irrational data and telling that to take prediction on human behaviors or something. That I don't know, like maybe I can come back to you if there is time. But to me, these 3 steps can take us, because there are a couple of things. If you are releasing the context of the data to the AI, then we'll be in trouble, because it will go back to the history of mankind. And if you do not give the context to the data, then the prediction can be wrong, right? So it's again a double-edged sword. Yeah. So coming to Rosa ma'am, I need something very interesting from you, because Colonel Sekhar said that is already the NCF is dated or not? He has asked this question. So my question to you, considering if there are issues and challenges now we can face in implementing NCF, because the age of AI is starting, and if you have given option to change some portion of the NCF at this present moment, what are the changes you would like to make?
Good evening, all. Thank you, Mr. Abhishek. And I think I fall short with such erudite speakers and such pool of intelligence. So I'm not sure if I will add any value, but however, let me try. One thing that I would like, when I'm looking at AI, and as a principal and as a team of teachers, we use ChatGPT big time now. And like Mr. Arijit has mentioned, the AI to replace teachers, the existence of it, I think I'm not too sure, only time can tell that. And the next part, the next aspect that Sir had mentioned is about collaborative intelligence. That's what I like. And being a science teacher, science graduate, the only thing that came to my mind was building a symbiotic relationship. But coming to the question that you asked, Mr. Abhishek, is that modifications that I would suggest, bearing in mind that AI has come at our doorstep, or rather is already arrived and is with us. NCF tells us and details to us the benchmarks that each student has to achieve at a certain level. Now, with the AI at their fingertips, the only requirement for a child to know is to be digitally acquainted with how to access knowledge. So that is one thing to limit the amount of knowledge. With the internet itself, there was a lot of revolution wherein, I can learn this and I can learn that. And so the teachers still fall short. So that would be one modification I think NCF, I'm thinking that it should come out with, is to benchmark the different learning outcomes and competencies. I think age will just become a number. And the second thing that I'm considering is the ethical aspect of it. Because as a principal, I use a lot of this, and I have seen a lot of AI tools wherein they can generate question papers. So are the teachers actually at pace with the students? I'm not sure about that. So, and NCF also speaks about a lot of subject integration. So I'm not sure about that as well. I have not tried that too. I have done it only individual subject, interdisciplinary, and all that hasn't been looked into. So I'm not sure. Another thing that I also would like to bring to your thought process is that we are still not sure whatever is AI presenting to us, is it right or wrong? So I go back to again check the veracity of it, whether it is right, and go back to it. So again, that would be a thought to ponder about, because the children will be having multiple answers coming out. So will I have open-ended answers, open-ended questions then? So it is only to, time can tell us. So that's from me.
So I think already a lot of questions have started coming regarding the validity of AI, validity of NCF at this present moment. Though it's not about the present moment, but definitely in near future. Coming to Colonel Sir, I think we have got some amount of time, so I'm not going to the rapid fire round at this very moment. We can ask another round of questions to you. So Colonel Sir, like you said, very tactfully you said that no one can predict 5, 10, 15 years of schools. Sir, I can foresee you to be still an education leader in 5, 10, 15 years. How you would like to transform the school in this particular age of NCF and AI, battle, tussle, collaboration, whatever we say. In this age, how you would like to transform this education, at least in the next 5 years?
Fair enough, yeah. Some good points made by both the other panelists. I'll pick up on what a fellow principal from Hyderabad has spoken is in terms of ethics, integration, students going ahead, etc. First and foremost, we have to understand as to how AI has to be integrated into what we are doing. One. Second is the context of it. 3. If the data which is going to be given in or the context is inherently flawed, what you're going to get is also going to be flawed. And as yet, the social, emotional, cultural part is up in the air, although many of the AI founders, etc., are extremely worried about it. So as of now, what we can see is we are relatively safe. But that is something similar to, in a very strange kind of manner, when COVID-19 initially started, what we thought and what we are thinking after 3 years, there are very different dimensions to it. The collaborative intelligence part, yes, is what is going to be right. But I am also going to see the teacher as a learning curator, wherein the teacher, the facilitator, or whoever it is is required to curate information contextually and get the right knowledge at the right place for the right student out of it. So this part in terms of how it is, what it is, and I've always said, and this is a good story to remember, there were two people traveling in an aircraft and one of them was a Reader's Digest editor. So initially this was a flight, I think from Delhi to Bombay or vice versa. So initially he said hello to his fellow passenger. He said a curt hello and did not say anything. Over the next hour or so, he was upset, talking to himself. ये अपने आप को क्या समझता है, ये है, वो है, everything came. As the plane landed, the gentleman quietly said, "My wife has died. If you allow me to go a little ahead, I can be part of the funeral." That was the exact moment the writer felt more than sheepish, guilty, etc. So, in effect, we are also extremely judgmental. I know you, Arijit, I know Abhishek, and I am seeing Madam Paul and looking at her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have decided that she is a genius, or vice versa. So, the first part of what we are doing is, in 5 years, what will happen?
I can't help you right now.
One, can the teacher be more enabled with AI, with the right technology and leadership? Issue number one. Issue number two, can we improve the average teacher to be an above average teacher? Three, can we reduce routine, mundane tasks and make the teacher freer from those responsibilities where she is the operative word, can catch up on what now versus whatever the principal or respected assistant vice president say will only be listened to. Why should I apply my mind? Three, can we become more open? My biggest worry presently in the system, fair and square, is we are in the business of super micromanagement. Whoever is owning or whoever is down below, including us as principals, we want to control everything rather than use the term mentoring. It's part of our problem because we are not given powers by the management. We are insecure, we hold on to it. So my bigger point is, will AI come in intrusively into checking what the teacher is doing, how she is taking the class, what is her emotional state, as many of the corporates are doing? That is a singular worry. Because in schools, especially, we are dealing with students who are not adults.
Right.
And that's the big point. So my 5-year future simply is improvement in the educational system, both in terms of quality and quantity. Can we, to a certain extent, bridge the 1.5 million teacher gap which we have over our 14 lakh schools? And maybe in 10 years, no principals. In 15 years, students themselves to become principals.
Okay.
Back to you, Abhishek.
Yes. Sir. So thank you so much. And but I got a new perspective here, Arijit. Like I want your input here because what sir is saying that no matter how much we are take data or we try to understand context, it's a human we require to actually train the AI the right context. Now there is a trolley problem here. Like there is some kind of dichotomy I am finding it here. Because is it like we require AI to correct our emotional stability or skill, or we require human to correct the AI? Like you can answer it in couple of sentences. Like there is something which I got it from Colonel Sekhar, and I really appreciate this perspective. I never thought about it, but this is a kind of dilemma I'm in now.
So great question, Abhishek, and allow me to just state 2 quick points. I'll come to the social and emotional aspect in a moment, but before that I want to throw some light on the cognitive part as well. So I just got reminded when Colonel Sekhar was speaking about it. So I got reminded by a book called, I think it came out 2 years back, maximum 3 years back. The name of the book is Stolen Focus. Johan Hari, I think, is the author. Okay, so in which he argues that the engrossing use of social media, especially by younger generations, has resulted in the inability of students to sustain deep focus on complex topics. Now, kind of, maybe we are when they are growing up in a constantly distracted by screens and all. So there's a lot of decline. There's a steep decline in critical reasoning and writing skills. Okay. Now we kind of very safely put the blame on COVID-19 pandemic. But if you look again into data, this steep decline trend was also there in 2019, which is pre-pandemic. Now the biggest usage presently, the biggest usage of, let's say, ChatGPT or other tools of AI is getting the critical element out, or let's say writing tasks, focus on writing tasks, because that has been the biggest blanket use of AI in the reasoning tasks and writing tasks. There are plenty of examples of that. Now, when there is such a hunger for an immediate improvement, will we see an irreversible decline in human thinking standards? Are we kind of making a generational mistake in leading ourselves to the hands of AI without enough monitoring, without enough restrictions, without any guidelines? So this is something.
Arijit, I would like to interrupt you. Very sorry why I'm interrupting you, because we always make the mistake to consider human as the center of the universe. Like we are too much troubled about what will happen to our human species. We are nothing in the scale of evolution. So my question to you was can we be cruel enough to say that we require an artificial intelligence to correct or reorient our emotional, I would say, emotional, diversions, whatever has happened, because, eventually we should. And now this is a natural process, I can understand. Maybe that we could have moved into the shift.
This question can only be asked by a bachelor. Please continue.
Yeah, why I do have a spare time to think about that, maybe. Yeah, Arijit, you understood my question, right?
I understood.
So instead of putting us as a center, do you actually, you can answer it in a one sentence, do you want, can we accept, or do you want AI to come and correct us?
See, behavioral science is still in its very infancy, and realizing the promise of AI will require adapting the current practices. That is a foregone conclusion. Okay, so there's no debate in that. Now, when it comes to still behavioral science, I would like to give two small examples, two tools which at least I am aware of. There might be hundreds more. So one tool is called receptivity, and the other tool is affectiva. Okay. Now, very quickly in one-line sentences, I'll define these two tools. So receptivity is the tool analyzes language patterns and provides insights into the emotional state of the writer. So if you are writing an email, if you are writing a message, when you are experiencing anger, sadness, anxiety, it captures that data and gives a deeper understanding of the writer's emotions. Affectiva is, it takes a look into your facial expression and it detects your emotion along with your body language. Okay, so by analyzing these facial expressions, maybe in real time, this kind of a tool, Affectiva, can help better understand maybe the classroom how students are feeling in their learning. Are they completely lost? Are they kind of getting it or not? So yes, I'm trying to understand. I completely understand from where you are saying. But again, as I said, that since behavioral science is in its complete infancy stage now, the more we strengthen these aspects and continuously feeding data, it will again, coming back to that collaborative intelligence, each will feed onto the other. And
you may say collaborative intelligence, or maybe in the higher order, maybe a collaborative consciousness. So that's another topic altogether. Rakhi ma'am, Do you have another time for a question, or we'll go to the rapid fire? I think we have, right? 20 minutes.
Yes, we do
Right.
have 20 minutes, and
So I would like to ask one question to Roja ma'am in context to this. So we have already heard a lot of like in-depth deep analysis and deep talking, right? So now if you are go back to the question again, like you have that kind of NCF at this present moment, which is heavily focused on the competency, and we have already understood that competency, like if you are leaving the AI to rule, whatever they want to do, then we cannot compete with the competency of our artificial intelligence or machine. Do you want that AI, NCF to be rewritten based on the competency of different kind, like more talk about the emotional development of it, which actually Sekhar mentioned. Like do you want a transformation, maybe NCF 2.0?
Whether I want NCF 2.0 with the advent of AI, my answer stems from the question that you asked Mr. Arijit about, and I put it in the chat, who's the boss? I still choose. I may ask AI or ChatGPT a volley of questions, but I'm still the boss.
Sorry to interrupt, or maybe like you still have the privilege to choose.
Absolutely. So I may ask questions, but I still will choose whether I want to do it or want to follow what AI is telling me, right? And yes, it is the school teacher had a textbook, teacher had internet, teacher had a library of books or e-books, but she still chooses to do. And so existentially, she may still continue. I'm not like Colonel Sekhar had mentioned, 5 to 10 years, we do not know what is the sea change that we will notice. But I still believe that, and pardon me, but yes, humans are the bosses, whether we like it or not.
Excellent.
Right?
And you have given me a fantastic.
Yeah. I must say that goes for a lady to say that she's the boss. You should understand.
Thank you, sir. I will take it. But I will. I'm still small.
No.
Yes, we are still the boss. We're still the boss.
Of course.
I agree.
We men have your permission to say so. No, just going a little further.
Yeah, we live in a perceived notion, sir. We are in perception, and we love to live in it, and we are happy.
That's nice. That's fair enough.
No, I have Abhishek, just an additional point. Yes. You are the boss, and you are doing it as a fair point. But just go into how our students and children are looking at data.
Yes,
93% of us do not go beyond the first page of a Google review. Google is into making money by putting CricBus before Cricinfo, despite the fact that Cricinfo is the best cricket website with the Indo-Pak match coming in.
Absolutely.
So what happens is, what Google or ChatGPT wants you to hear, and your own mind wants you to hear when you live in ecosystems,
right?
The CHO echo chambers, that will happen, and that's going to be a challenge. Back to you, Abhishek.
Exactly. So, I would rather thank, Rosa ma'am for raising this topic, because we still have the choice. And maybe this ability that we still have the choice, I don't know for how long, but still have the ability to, still have the choice will actually take us to a certain age where we have already seen, right? There will be a movement against AI, and there will be some people going and living in the, forest and wilderness, with no technology with them, and that can be another kind of cult creating. And or maybe the majority of the population, as we are a complete slave of the market, they will also become a slave of the AI with a very seamless kind of changes happening. We'll not even understand that how the changes are happened. Only the industrialists will be replaced by technocrats. Anyways, like coming to the last portion of our session today, and which is like a very interesting one. Rapid fire. Interestingly, most of the questions of the rapid fire have already been answered here. But still, I would go forward with it. And Sekhar, your questions, you know the rule, because you have to answer, maximum one sentence, not more than that, and it has to be fast, right? It can be one word also. Sir, are you ready?
Go ahead.
Sir, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
So my first question, you can answer yes or no. First question to you. Do you think we will require a new NCF in the next 5 years?
Yes.
Okay. Question 2. Do you think the education fraternity is mostly in a denial mode when it comes to major disruptions like AI?
Absolutely. Big time.
Okay. And the last question to you. Do you believe that a self-conscious, neutral AI can bring the actual peace in this world one day?
Self-conscious, neutral AI is an oxymoron. It won't happen.
Okay, let's hope for it. You can again, human never miss an opportunity to put themselves in the center of the universe,
No, I am
with all the
simply saying, as to AI, whatever, unless AI becomes a transhuman, as we have already discussed, it will happen. In the present mode, AI to be neutral and emotionally a Dr. Spock and William Shatner is an oxymoron. I stand by my statement.
Yes. Arijit, ready?
Yeah.
Question 1. Do you think teaching sustainability can be a way out to resist the cravings of technology overdose?
Yes.
Do you think teaching sustainability is the solution?
Yes, it will be, and I would, in the interest of all the participants here listening to us, I would strongly recommend a book called Donut Economics by Kate Raworth. It's a fantastic read and a revolutionary read. It changes your mindset. The donuts.
Yeah. Question 2. Next question to you. Actually, it's a compound question, so you can answer both. Do you think all students must get the training of AI today? And from which grade you think the training must start?
So this is a difficult one to answer because what kind of a training, the content and the application of that training would define.
Consider the training which is actually required. Don't go into the details.
Training
which is actually required for AI. That whoever will be defining it will be a matter of debate. That's a different thing. But suppose AI training is to be started,
So anything which is reflective, 100% yes.
Okay.
But if you're just teaching the technology part of it, you can.
Understood. Which grade? Which grade?
From I would say if it is reflective from pre-primary level.
Okay. Fine. Good enough. Now question number 3. Tell us one risk you can see if we include AI education in the curriculum. One risk.
I don't see any risk, honestly. It's because of planning. One very shallow kind of a point which can come out is that there is no place in the timetable. It cannot work. It cannot work in a timetable mechanism. It has to go into a kind of internalizing the entire concept.
So everything will be integrated. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Rosa, ma'am, are you ready?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So your first question number 1. Do you think that we are threatened by artificial intelligence as we are more exposed towards natural stupidity?
Good question. I do not know what to say to that.
Yes or no?
This is a yes or a no would be, I do not know which way to swing. This is a difficult question and not fair to ask me.
That's my job.
Yeah, that's your job. Okay, yes.
Okay. Question 2. Do you believe that our teachers need AI training compulsory starting from today?
Absolutely. I completely agree with it.
And last question to you. If you get an AI teacher in one particular department performing better than the human teacher in all aspects, will you be replacing the human teacher to reduce cost?
No, I would not
to reduce cost. Okay.
No, I would not be doing that.
Even if the AI teacher is better?
No, I would not be doing it. Because I will be questioning my own existence tomorrow.
Abhishek, better is a very relative term. So better, what are the rubrics? What is the parameter? What is the framework?
When you have two Bengalis, they will obviously come to philosophy and relativity. What she says is an existential defensive answer. Why should I cut my feet myself?
Yeah, exactly.
I really appreciate saying, I'm not going to do A at the cost of myself.
Yes, that's what I said.
That's the point which she's making, So, I believe that's a very honest answer. The philosophers can TTH.
and I also believe that one day when Rakhi ma'am will be uploading this video in the YouTube, one of the AI bot will be listening to this video and will be interpreting whichever way they want to, and probably my number will be flashing. They can contact me. Over to you, Rakhi ma'am.
Wow. What an amazing, insightful session we had. Thank you so much, Abhishek ji, for these wonderful questions. However, while I was listening to all of you and I was making a few notes and trying to understand and, decode it for myself as to, in terms of course, we are aware of what AI is bringing to us. And as Ms. Rosa rightly said, we are the boss. We have the privilege because we are literate enough to understand that we have a choice. However, when we go down and if we're looking at the other side, where we're still struggling to get the literacy rate high, we're still struggling to get to get our numbers on the PISA test. We're still struggling with all those things. And on this side, we're talking about AI and tools, and we spoke about, Mr. Arijit shared about these two tools, receptivity, that analyzes emotional patterns and analyzes facial expressions. It seems like a big, huge divide at the moment, especially post-pandemic, where we're still struggling to get the numbers high. And on one side, we are already talking about how AI is going to take over and how it's going to enhance the curriculum and how teachers are required to get trained. So just trying to get an understanding from all of you that how is it that this divide could be taken care of. I understand that as educators, as principals, we are going to constantly help our teachers learn these tools. But at the same time, how is it that we as teachers are able to incorporate this knowledge in the classroom, keeping in mind the ethics, keeping in mind the ruthlessness of the tool, because we are aware that it can be misused. So just trying to understand how can we find a balance in this chaos.
I wish leave this question and let it float, right? Because we need a lot of introspection, a lot of research, because this is a very deep question. It's not an easy. There is no easy answer to it.
Yeah.
And yes, but if you ask me what is my mind, what is there in my mind, I'm scared. As I'm very, very honest. I'm scared. Not because I'm an educator, not because my background is technology, but because I can see that the disruption, the changes are going to happen so fast. It always happened, and it's somehow the human managed, and they have created their own society. But is it the world that we expected to happen 300, 400 years back? I don't know. So let the question float, I think. What do you say, other panelists?
Yeah, I'm sure that this requires reflection, but just was wanting to understand, how is it that this chaos can be balanced? Yeah.
It will be not. See, it's a law of entropy. You just understand. Okay, we love to move towards chaos, and that's what is happening, and that's absolutely okay. We need to come out of our ego and understand what is happening, right? So the more we are thinking on that, I may be sounding pessimistic here, but that's what the truth is. Like, we need to understand this from a very bigger scale. It's not philosophical even.
Abhishek,
not philosophical.
Yeah, Abhishek, from Aristotle to Plato to everyone, we have always talked about the next generation as worse than us. That's something which we are good at. The next generation will say that our parents are not cool. So We shall overcome. It will move on. I have a hard stop now in the next minute or so. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for
Thank you,
delaying.
thank you, sir. Thank
God
you so
bless
much. Thank you for being here, and thank you to all our panelists for throwing insight into this discussion and helping us understand how is it that we can move forward and the kind of changes that we can expect, and also the recommendations given by Mr. Arijit regarding the book. I think I'm going to be sharing and typing it out in the community for educators to catch hold of that book as well. As always, an insightful session. Thank you to all for being on time, and also for all the technical issues that we faced. We surpassed all of it thanks to our human intelligence and not AI intelligence. Yeah. Thank you so much. And with this, I would like to sign off our today's session. And in case of any questions, please post them and we shall get back to you with the answers. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Rosa. Thank you, Mr. Abhijit. Have a nice evening and a great week ahead. Thank you.